plow into, plow into, severely, severely, deliberate, deliberate, pop up, pop up, poised to, poised to, yield, yield, obligation, obligation, commitment, commitment, en route, en route, aviation, aviation. A driver plowed a vehicle into a Christmas market in the city of Magdeburg in central Germany this evening, killing at least 2 people and injuring more than 65 others, 14 of them severely. The driver, identified as a 50-year-old Saudi Arabian citizen, was arrested, the authorities said. They said they believe it was a deliberate attack. More than 1,000 Christmas markets pop up every year in Germany and have been targeted by terrorists before. Hopes were high that the Fed's rate cuts could make homes more affordable, but so far, that hasn't happened. Average rates on 30-year mortgages have climbed to around 6.7%, from roughly 6.1% since the central bank started lowering rates in September, according to Freddie Mac, and they're only poised to rise further. That's because mortgage rates move with the yield on the 10-year Treasury, which has surged this week. Anthony Loke, Malaysia's transportation minister, announced plans for a robotics company to renew a search for the plane that disappeared in 2014. We think that this is another attempt to find Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, and it is our responsibility and our obligation and our commitment to the families. The flight was en route to Beijing from Kuala Lumpur with 239 people on board. An approximately $150 million multi-year search effort, the most expensive in aviation history, ended in 2017. Briefly, ground, relatively, ground stop, shortly, waiver, trauma, come out, in terms of, mileage, reclaim, annex, consternation, American Airlines briefly grounded all U.S. flights. On one of the busiest travel days of the year, American Airlines grounded all its flights in the U.S. this morning for about an hour. American said a vendor technology issue had affected systems needed to release flights. While relatively brief, the ground stop could result in heavy delays in the coming days. Tens of millions of people fly from mid-December to shortly after New Year's Day, and a travel record is expected to be set this year. The airline issued a waiver allowing people flying through some airports to reschedule their flights through Thursday. Believe it or not, there's a long tradition of Santa Claus polls. The Times ran one in 1985, and over the years, belief has held quite steady. Even if some parents now wonder if joy will turn to trauma for their children when the truth comes out. Americans don't just believe in Santa, they approve of his performance. In a 2020 poll, 73% of respondents gave him a positive rating. President-elect Trump has big plans to make America greater in terms of square mileage. He has floated acquiring Greenland, reclaiming the Panama Canal, annexing Canada, and potentially invading Mexico, to the intense consternation of their leaders.